When I was watching Raw last night for April 27th, 2020, the main thing that struck me was, well, obviously how bad the show was. That's just not even a question. But it struck me how horrible the second hour was, and how in the second hour and the third hour, excluding the main event segment, I felt like nothing happened. And the ratings really did reflect that. And to coincide with that, this picture you see on screen, Raw Fears ratings, it's something that this picture popped into my head when I saw the number, and it really couldn't be truer than it is right now. Okay, Monday Night Raw continues to get lowest non-holiday this, lowest ever that. It's just, we're in this time where, once again, I made the analogy last week, but Vince McMahon, he's playing how low can you go with the ratings, okay? It's like a limbo game. Vince McMahon is, going lower and lower and lower, and I don't know when this will stop, because the ratings haven't gone up in weeks. They've just been tanking and tanking and tanking. Dead set, the April 6th show, so the Raw After Mania, drew 2.118 overall, and then ever since, April 13th drew 1.913, April 20th drew 1.842, and this week, Monday Night Raw drew 1.817. Okay, so right away, the show was not the lowest Raw rating ever. That still belongs to the 2018 Christmas episode. Okay, so Raw can be happy it didn't beat that record. That show drew 1.775, which I was adamant this show would get a worse rating than that one, but it didn't. So, hour by hour, this show, it's not a pretty story, really. So, this show, hour 1, drew 1.945 million viewers, which is the lowest non-holiday viewership in the history of Raw for hour 1, which, right away, that shows no one cares about Raw right now. Like, the lowest ever number of people is tuning in for the first hour. Can you blame them? Okay, I did tune in for the first hour, and we saw a random MVP lounge segment, or whatever, VIP lounge, doesn't matter, or like a random MVP segment, and then Vega's stable, who was buried last week, they came out, then we got a 40-minute six-man tag match, and then we got Apollo Crews and Andrade backstage, and then 15 minutes of nothing. What a first hour that was. And then, from there, the ratings to the second hour went to 1.888 million, so this, personally, I think 1.888 is a bit generous for the second hour, but really, the big talking point is the third hour, okay? Monday Night Raw in the third hour for April 27th, 2020, drew 1.619 million viewers. 1 point Rey Mysterio's finish a million viewers. Are you for real? 1.619? The second lowest third hour of all time, including holidays. I forget which show drew a worse third hour. I think it was the 2018 Christmas show in the third hour, I think. But literally, 1.619 in the third hour. To put in perspective, last week, in the third hour, drew 1.72 in the third hour. Okay, Monday Night Raw, I'm going to talk about why I got the 1.619 in the third hour. Pretty much, okay, people who are watching the second hour of Monday Night Raw, just the second hour was god-awful atrocious. Nia Jax throwing a ladder around and destroying Asuka and Shayna Baszler. What else? Bobby Lashley squashing Denzel Mustard name, whatever, Dejanette, whatever. So, yeah, Lashley getting a squash. The Viking Raiders backstage doing a promo. What even else? Ruby Riott vs. Liv Morgan again. And then we got Nia Jax screaming backstage. Jinder Mahal in a match. Like, how is any of that going to bring back ratings? How is Apollo Crews challenging the US title going to bring back ratings? And justifiably so. People hit the remote control and turn the show off altogether. Okay, I said this last night, it's rang true in the ratings. Who is watching this show on the East Coast in the United States at 9:30, 9:40, 9:50? You hit 10 o'clock, 10:15, 10:30. Who's watching the show at that time and keeping it on voluntarily? Okay, you're either doing it to create content, you're doing it out of just sheer habit, or you're doing it because, I don't know, or you just leave the show on and you fall asleep, like I mentioned in my Types of Fans video. Okay, 1.619 in the third hour. They've got no one to blame but themselves. Okay, the third hour itself, I watched it last night. I genuinely can't even recall what happened in the third hour. Like, I watched this yesterday. What happened in the third hour? All I remember is a Becky Lynch WWE 24 kind of package, and then Ricochet and Cedric versus Everrise. That's all I remember. And then the contract signing. What even happened in the third hour? Nothing. So this rating is very reflective of that. And not to mention, like, I was thinking about this, a couple of you guys commenting down below, I was thinking what WWE could do for a ratings ploy, which, if they do this, if they do what I'm about to suggest, then I'll be dumbfounded, okay? If they do what I'm about to suggest, Raw ratings will hit 1.4, 1.5 by June and July, okay? If they have Jinder Mahal replace Apollo Crews in the Money in the Bank men's ladder match, and then Jinder Mahal wins Money in the Bank, and then Jinder Mahal cashes in Money in the Bank later that same night to beat Drew McIntyre and win the WWE Championship. I'll give you guys a moment to process that. Jinder Mahal wins Money in the Bank, cashes in that same night, and we get Jinder Mahal as WWE Champion. Okay, because on Twitter last night, hashtag Jinder Mahal was trending in the United States. So WWE probably see that, and given how relevant they are, they'll go, oh, Drew's not drawing. No one cares about Drew. Drew does nothing. Give the title to Jinder Mahal. So we'll get Jinder Mahal as champion versus Drew McIntyre for like 2-3 pay-per-views. Yeah. This is the kind of state WWE is in 2020. This is the kind of state this company is in. That Jinder Mahal, the make-believe Maharaja, coming back and hitting the Kolas is considered the rating saver, in Vince's eyes at least. Because Jinder Mahal coming back, I don't see what this does for anything. Jinder Mahal is just a guy. I still view him as the 3MB guy who they gave the WWE title to. Okay? It's the same thing with Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews, a jobber for years, and now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, oh, look, you're supposed to care about Apollo Crews. He's getting 75 minutes of TV time on a Raw. You should care about Apollo Crews. We're making a star, damn it. But there's more to making a star than having him compete having him be in an opening segment, a 25-minute six-man tag, a 20-minute US title match, 3 backstage segments. Okay, that's not how you made stars in the Attitude Era. It's not how you made stars in the Ruthless Aggression Era. Okay, it's just overexposure, overkill, like, brilliant. So that was Monday Night Raw, April 27th, 2020. Personally, I love making these ratings videos because they're a great kind of closure for each episode of Raw. It's like, I make the Raw review afterwards, the initial kind of rant about Raw, because usually after Raw, I'm very negative, and I just need to address something. I don't go into the Raw reviews trying to be overwhelmingly negative, okay? I go into Raw, well, kind of dreading the show, to be honest. I mean, who wouldn't? But I go into watching a Raw show, I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's see, hopefully get a couple of, good matches that further storylines, maybe they start an angle, and then every week I'm just disappointed and dumbfounded by how bad their standards have gotten. Okay, I'm watching this show, I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe how bad this is. And that's what we got last night, and that's why the ratings reflected it. Okay, as I said, I'm kind of surprised this isn't the lowest rated Raw ever, but next week very well could be. Okay, the Raw before Mania drew the 1.646 in the third hour. I'm pretty sure next week's Raw, the final show before Money in the Bank, that could easily draw the lowest third hour ever. So, basically, that's the ratings. One other thing I want to address, I found this hilarious, the dislikes on the video yesterday, on the Raw review. At the moment, I went to sleep, woke up, you guys showed it great support on the video overnight for me. So it was something like 18 likes and 9 dislikes when I went to bed. Woke up, 27 likes, 9 dislikes. Okay, you guys have drowned out the Jinder Mahal fanboys. Because literally what I did, obviously I put Jinder Mahal front center in the title, but as well, I tagged Jinder Mahal. I was like, Jinder Mahal today, Mahal return, Jinder Mahal return, Jinder Mahal Raw, Jinder Mahal this. So all the Indian, most likely, or Jinder Mahal fans or Indian fans who typed in Jinder Mahal's name came up with that, and then got disappointed and angry because I ranted on Jinder. So I found that pretty funny. I found the dislikes towards the video pretty funny because personally, I don't even care. It's more engagement and traction for the video. I think it's awesome. So yeah, just basically that's the video. Monday Night Raw, April 27th, 2020. One final recap. Where's the viewership? 1.817 million viewers overall. 1.817. 1.945 in the first hour. Lowest ever in the first hour. Then 1.888 in the second hour. And then the third hour drops a whole 200, and quick maths off the top of my head, 269,000 viewers from hour 2 to hour 3. In summary, Monday Night Raw is the worst wrestling show produced never mind, this same company makes SmackDown. Monday Night Raw is the worst wrestling show outside of SmackDown in the industry. So that's the video. Like, comment, sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.